Hi guys, I would like to just very briefly say something at the beginning of the second day of Finweek. First of all, I want to thank Finas and David Chaiko and his whole team for doing this very unique conference for 9 years already. Yeah, I think, and I'm proud that we can be part of it. We support Fintech event as it started, and now Finweek for 8 years already, together with National Bank. I see this as a great opportunity to meet with you, people from market, and also discuss where are we with the financial innovation, what are the challenges, and what should be done in the next few years. We know that the situation now it's bumpy. I would say it's not easy. From part of Ministry of Finance, what I can say and would like to say is that we try to support financial innovation, and we started the initiative together with National Bank, FINAS, and other associations under the umbrella of Center for Financial Innovation, and we want to come up with the strategy for support of financial innovation in Slovakia. And it's not just proclamation, and we won't be doing anything in the next two or 3 years, but we already started discussions and meetings concerning tokenization of assets. This should be or could be of interest to you, and also quite intense discussions about Sandbox 2.0. So really, we want to come up with not too many, but couple of things that really will help, and we will be able to deliver in the next 1 or 2 years in order to support fintech. So, thank you very much for being here. Thanks to Finweek. To this conference, to Davi and his team, and back to Johan. Bye-bye. Thanks.
Perfect, Martin. And I will open it with thanking our main sponsors. Ministry of Finance of the Slovak Republic, National Bank of Slovakia, Visa, and a special thanks to our conference partners, Slovakia Travel, Embassy of Poland in Bratislava, CRIF, Slovak Credit Bureau, Dekta, Golden Gate, Blick, DevOps Group, Fumbi, Bratislava Stock Exchange, TPA Slovensko, Prosper and Pavlovic, University of Economics in Bratislava, Matej Bell University in Banska Bystrica, and also thanks to our AI stream partners, TechMates, and our official networking partner, IDEA. And a big thanks to you all of our supporters and media partners. To begin with, I would like to welcome Gáspár Nagy, our keynote speaker. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you, Johan. Today I will talk a little bit about AI transformation and why companies are getting it wrong and how to get it right. It's more wider than just the fintech and the insurtech community. This can be used in any company. A little bit about me. I am in business for 10-15 years in software development. I have multiple businesses. The biggest one is TechMates, as we are sponsoring this as well. And we are doing AI transformation of companies and helping with the IT as well. Myself, I'm working as an interim CTO, COO, and a business mentor as well. So the biggest message I want to give you today is basically that all the AI projects in the companies, 95% of it are just failing. And it's not because of the technology, but it's because of the implementation. Right? Sure? Yes? Why is that? It's basically because the management, CEO, owners of the companies, and it is for all the companies from 20 people to thousands of people. They want to implement AI, but basically they don't want to buy. The only thing is they want to save money. Yeah, right? The middle management says that, okay, there will be having less worries, less people, and the people who are like the workers in the company are basically afraid because they think they will lose their jobs. With this, you need to change the mindset, and the implementation of automations and AI in the company should come from the bottom up, because the people who are working, who are doing their jobs, they are the people who can benefit the most from automations and AI in the companies. Okay? And from my experience, if I go to the company, usually the majority of the companies, or majority of the CEOs or the top management just don't know what is going up and down people. So basically they don't know where to implement the AI, they just want it. Okay? I will give you some tips. There are like 8 to 9 tips how you can approach this properly. And the first one is that you need to give your people space. They need to understand that the AI is helping them and not that they will be replaced by AI. Okay? As a company owner or top management, you would like to be more profitable, do better work faster, not just cutting heads in the company, because your business will not grow in that way. The thing you can do is basically buy a ChatGPT subscription. It can be one for all teams or one in the team, and the people just need to get used to it. I often get questions about to buying a subscription, or they can try the free one. I'm saying that the paid one has much more options and people can benefit from it much more. I'm not getting really into details because we have only like 10, 15 minutes. Yeah? The second tip is that you need to master the tools. What tools I'm talking about? We have here, it's not visible, okay. We have here like Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, and Grok, which are all chatting platforms. Copilot from Microsoft is not here. You can use that one as well, but it's the worst from these 5. Okay, so just trying out, going in there, try prompting, try the answering, and so on and so forth. For research purposes, I would recommend to do some deep research through ChatGPT, Gemini, but you can also use Perplexity, which came as a first company doing internet search with AI. So this one is also a base tool set you should have in the company. Then we have NotebookLM, which is basically a platform which you can give you your files, and it will give you answers only from your files. There will be no hallucination in this way. Okay. Then we have 11 Labs for audio to text, text to audio. So transcripts, for example, you go with a meeting, you record it with your phone, you upload, and then you can get a text, a transcript, follow-up action points, emails, whatever you like, whatever you prompt. Then we have for videos, you can use VO3. It's from Google. It's really fun to play with. If you are doing some ads, you can do, for example, you can do an example where you have the whole script written, and you give it to Veo. You will have the video from it for your ads, and then what you can do is basically prepare the persona who would you like to target, and ask Gemini to validate the video with that persona, and you get the answers how you should change the script of the video, and then you can send it to production. Okay, so just this validation process. Okay, and there is Midjourney. Midjourney is for images. So again, you can do ads, you can do LinkedIn posts, for example. You can generate really great images for Midjourney. You need to learn how to prompt, how to properly prompt. This is also, I think, a really huge problem in the companies that they think they know what are they doing, but they are just asking ChatGPT, whatever it would be, Google or something. Here are some basics, okay? The basics are that you need to define the role. For example, I have here a ghostwriter. You need to say what you want. So I want a LinkedIn post. You need to define the output. So saying, if you are talking about LinkedIn posts, okay, there should be the tone of voice, the structure of the output, the format of the output. And also, it's really helpful. And it's needed to provide perfect examples, to put there like 3 posts which were the best in your LinkedIn, for example, and also give a context. As I was talking about perplexity, you can do a research to your topic, and then you can put it inside the prompt and ask to write in your tone of voice a LinkedIn post, for example. Okay. Then it's really great to share the prompt library. So the best prompts you are preparing, share it across the company, or do a custom GPT, or the projects, or whatever you say. It's an assistant, AI assistant, where you have some master prompt and you can share it through the company. For example, we are using ClickUp. It can be Jira, Asana, Monday, whatever you are using. And just put it in there. You can see the changes. You can see the people, what are they satisfied with, and everybody can add their changes and new prompts in there, and it's shared across the company. It is really great to introduce AI Fridays or some brainstormings. So if you have the people using the AI, any tool in your company, it's really great to organize a meeting every week, every second week, every month, whatever fits you, to share that information, to come up with new ideas. And this can help for the people. Again, we are talking about the people who are working in the company, to share all this knowledge so they will see how it can help in their work. Then really great tools are here, the communities, different communities in AI. I would focus on communities which are doing company use cases, not just personal productivity. It's really great for managers as well, but you need to resolve a company-wide AI transformation, so it's better to have these kind of communities. And this is one of them. So this community is basically focusing on leaders in AI transformation, and it's focusing on companies. They are doing online events, offline events as well. It's Brno-based, so it's near from Bratislava. You should be implementing internal training, which means that the people who already learned some tools, they should teach others. It can be combined with that brainstormings or AI Fridays I was telling about. You should consider external training as well, but please not with the institutions which just get established 1 month ago. It was a huge problem in Czech Republic that everybody just started to doing AI trainings, and they get financing from the government. So yeah, it was a bullshit. Okay, so like it's totally bad. Like I was talking to people who went to multiple trainings. Like there was a lady in 4 trainings, like ChatGPT, some automation, so on and so forth. And she said, "Bro, like I don't know how to do AI. I don't even know how to properly prompt." Okay, so that was that bad. Then you should, afterwards, when the people start using those tools, you already have some manual flows, so the people are using Perplexity, ChatGPT, Claude, anything like that, Midjourney, and you are copying information from one to another tool, and then you can start automation because you have the use cases. You can do it with the 3A framework, really easy. It's analysis, action, and automation. So in the analysis phase, as we told now with these tips, you already are gathering the opportunities, and you know where can be the AI and automation implemented. And then you are doing the action, which means that the people are trying it, preparing the manual flow. So all these steps, these 9 tips I gave you, are heading into the automation and AI. And when you are doing already some manual steps, you can jump into an automation where you can use like those tools, Make, Zapier, N8N, or Nathan. And you can select the opportunities because you already know how long it takes to the people to work on one use case. And you say, hey, this guy is getting like 2K euro. It's 10 hours a month. So you can have the price for it. And you say, okay, I will, for example, save 150 euro on one person, and like I have 30 people doing the same, you know? So then just repeat, going and trying all new use cases. I'm not going into really deep about, you can build up a software on it, you can manage it, monitor it, so on and so forth. If you would like to talk about that, I have a stand here. So you can find me and we can talk about this more deeply. One thing here, this demo application. So this 3A framework is basically automated. So you go there, put there your email, you get to a chatbot, which will ask you about your process, and then it's doing automatic analysis where you can implement automation. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gáspár. Now, I would like to invite the rest of my panel to the stage. That is Jonathan Middleton, Director of Financial Service at Naya One. Neha Mehta, Founder and CEO of Fintech Partners. Gáspár Nagy is already here. Thomas Reit, Chief Sales Officer at mBank, important bank here in Slovakia and Czech Republic. Marcel Klimo, Head of Artificial Intelligence at Vacuum Labs. Welcome to the panel. Thank you, Gáspár. We will build on your speech. It's a great introduction speech, and I see why companies make mistakes when they're implementing AI. The first question is a very naive question. If you don't know how to prompt, why not ask your AI how it likes its prompts?
Yeah, it can be. It can be, of course. So this is one of the things you can do, of course. But still, it will give you some of the structures. There are like more methods you can use, for example. One is that if you are prompting, you are doing just some stupid prompt, I would say, and you told ChatGPT or any of those chatting platforms that just ask me questions before you give me your answer. So as it would be a junior colleague, you know, and you tell them just to ask, and then you have multiple questions, and you can, for example, add those answers to your first prompt, and it will get a better answer. Also, you can do, for example, that you can say that break down your chain of thoughts, for example. So you tell them to write down how they go through the process of thinking, and then you see how it wants to generate the answer, and you can correct it. So those are some of the tips of prompting.
Thank you very much. We'll move on with seeing AI-powered hyper-personalization and autonomous decision-making delivering real return on investment, not just marginal improvement. I would like a comment from you, Neha Mehta, on this one, please.
Ahoy, Bratislava. Is it working? Okay, great. Good morning. I'm very happy to be here. I took a long flight to get here. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this morning. Before I answer that, I would like to share with you that last couple of years, I have spent some time in Fiji Islands. And the greeting in Fiji Islands goes like Bula Vinaka, which means good morning. Ahoy. So very happy that I'm with all of you today. So since we're talking about artificial intelligence and hyper-personalization, I would say in my definition, it's not just intelligence, it's also about inclusion. And the reason I say this is because most of my career has been bringing technology to the last mile, to the poorest of the poor people. So some of these people don't really have a digital ID. They don't have a digital or credit history. So how do we begin with offering financial services to them? Of course, digital tools come very handy. With my Singapore long journey, I have seen a lot of times the journey goes like from digitization to digital transformation. And now we are at digital fusion, which is AI-powered tools, like my colleagues were speaking about, using it in the right fashion. But sorry, it has a lot to do also to know who your target audience is and what you want at the end of the day. So I'll give you one very particular example. We were building a digital wallet in Fiji Islands for the Pacific Islanders. As you know, Pacific Island is the largest and the deepest ocean body, so it has a lot of natural calamities happening at all times. So for us, it was a big challenge to bring insurance to these people. But imagine, they don't really have sometimes an ID, and we're talking about 333 islands in Fiji, and some of the islands just have 10 people. So no bank would like to go there. Yesterday, we had a great award ceremony, and there were a lot of insurance companies winning awards, but I would be surprised if any one of them would like to go to an island with just 10 people. So the challenge was to bring all these capabilities of, let's say, microinsurance, parametric insurance, and a digital wallet for cashless payments. So it was a massive task, but long story short, I would like to share with you that even though during COVID, the government of Fiji was bringing government-to-person payments, which is the payouts they usually give in terms of recovery process after natural calamity, people will just withdraw all the money from the digital wallet and never go back to it because they are so scared to keep money in the wallet. And now the challenge was to bring stickiness, and that's where the beauty of AI also comes, because we were able to send drones when the natural calamity happens. The drones can take pictures and assess the damage in real time. And some of these people, since they had wallets, we were offering them microinsurance, which was parametric in nature. And once that feature was inbuilt with the drone capturing, we were able to send money onto that wallet in less than a few seconds. Because research goes to show the sooner you're able to send money after natural disaster, the resilient builds very quickly. So that was one of the examples, but also to know that if we are able to bring a school fee feature onto that app, on the digital wallet, I won't be having some of my colleagues not working on the last Friday of the month because you have to queue for long hours to go to the school and pay the school fee. So at that time, we realized, what is that pull factor? How can we make sure people keep coming back to the app? And we were able to do that by bringing the school fee feature and, of course, microinsurance. So the example is not perhaps very relevant to the market where we are sitting, but we are talking about a large chunk of population which is almost always unseen and unheard.
Thank you so much. That was a very, very inspiring speech. And it's interesting that we can actually reach people on an island with only 10 people with modern technology. And I suppose they have internet through Starlink and things like that to make communication easier as well.
So yeah, Elon Musk has done a lot. Yeah, you're right. There's Starlink, but also just like the early days of M-Pesa, those of you who know the Kenya M-Pesa story, the Safari.com, and then Vodafone. So Vodafone has a huge presence in the islands, and the idea was that we need to have a mobile device which has internet connectivity, because I think if you're trying to go from offline to online, that's the basic thing, yeah.
Thank you. We'll continue with Jonathan, and I would like you to comment on deliver real return on investment, not just marginal improvement.
Yeah, I think we're in an interesting place with a lot of AI transformation, and Gáspár, you'll be able to kind of, I think, take this from your side as well. I'd say AI transformation is happening on the one hand quite slowly, and on the other hand very, very quickly. And what I mean by that is, and we go back to the org chart that he had at the top. A lot of senior executives are very excited about AI transformation, but aren't necessarily themselves overly equipped to understand what the tools can do. Engineers are very excited around kind of productivity gains in software development and other kind of back-end functionality. Business teams are beginning to try to understand what it can do, but then have a lot of constraints around, I'm thinking particularly in banks and insurance firms, right? So business units then have the challenge of, what can I actually do? Can I let my customer data anywhere near these tools? Because, security controls. We're beginning to see data come out from the partners that we work with that you're beginning to see massive reductions for the engineers in terms of pre-production bugs, in terms of like the quality of code that's being developed, the speed at which it's being developed. And this isn't like a kind of marginal 2%. This is like a 20, 30, 40, 50% improvement, which is huge. I would say that the real transformation that's likely to emerge, where we're kind of talking about entirely new organizational ways of working, is probably still a little bit of a ways off, if I'm honest. But I'd say both for back-end technology, you're seeing orders of magnitude improvement potential. And I think we're beginning to get to the stage now where kind of business unit teams who have to deal with customers in banks and insurance firms are beginning to kind of go, oh, actually, I can really begin to do some very, very clever stuff that will, and we're seeing this in terms of like cutting cost and improving, for example, like claims and processes like that. So we're still in the foothills. We're not even halfway up the mountain on this yet. But if the trend continues, I think we'll see massive transformations in terms of how organizations do their task at the moment, but also new organizational operating models emerge as well, which will be very exciting.
Very good. Now I would like to invite Effendy Zulkifly. He's the founder of the Center for AI, Blockchain and Advanced Research, KABAR. He leads initiatives of AI governance in Malaysia. He's also the author of Artificial Intelligence, Law, Ethics, and Boundaries of Power. Welcome. Can you hear me?
Hi, guys. Yes, I can hear you. It's very clear. Is it okay, my voice? Yeah.
We hear you very well. Thank you so much.
Okay.
And,
welcome.
It's great to have you here. And
yes.
And you want to speak about culture and ethical context for ASEAN countries and AI in Islamic banking, correct?
Yes.
Very
good. A bit on that matter.
Very good.
That's all.
We look forward to hear your opening remarks here. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning to everyone in Slovakia, and good afternoon to everyone in Malaysia. I am Effendy Zulkifly, founder and president of the Center for AI, Blockchain and Advanced Research in Malaysia and Indonesia. At Chaba, we focus on governance frameworks, digital inclusion, Sharia compliant insurtech, and blockchain AI fusion across ASEAN. And my book, Artificial Intelligence, Law and Ethics, The Boundaries of Power, explores how emerging technologies must be governed in a way that aligns with human rights, ethics, and societal values. Because why? In our country, there are a lot of investment from USA and from China, and they invested a lot on the data center. For example, Google's, Amazon, and from the China as well, from Huawei. And this is a very important thing for us to ensure the sovereignty of the data must be complied accordingly to our country. I come here from the ASEAN region, particularly in Malaysia and Indonesia, where the combination of mobile first populations, regulatory agility, and high growth means we are both a test bed and a potential leader in the global AI and Fintech shift. Coming from ASEAN, particularly Malaysia and Indonesia, I've seen how our region is leapfrogging into AI transformation, not by copying Silicon Valley, but by building an inclusive, human-centered ecosystem that connects finance, innovation, and ethics. And there are a little bit the black box problems that I can say explainable and responsible AI. One of the greatest challenges in AI adoption is a black box, especially in the finance and insurtech. Regulators and customers demand transparency, fairness, and accountability. So how you want to comply this? If all the data center, all the language is coming outside from our country, the data compiled and combined and was massaged from outsiders, right? When we have the data centers, but what you call this kind of coefficient data controlled by this kind of data center. It's not what belongs to us. Because of that, from our Prime Minister's last month in our budget 2026 announcements, our government provided 2 billion ringgit Malaysia, is around 500 USD, on sovereign cloud AI that we need to be implemented in our country. And in Malaysia, regulators such as the Securities Commission Malaysia and the Bank Negara Malaysia are already pushing frameworks around AI governance, model accessibility, and ethics. Because according to EY's 2024 survey, around 80% of financial institutions in Asia Pacific now consider explainable AI board-level issues. So without trust, you cannot scale. In ASEAN, building responsible AI from the start with governance, audit trails, fairness, and cultural relevance is not a cost, but a differentiator. That's all from me, Johan. I pass back to you.
Thank you very much. And in what way is the culture context different in the ASEAN countries compared to, let's say, Europe or the United States?
So, basically, on the cross-religion lesson, we compare to ASEAN and UK view or Europe view. ASEAN offers a distinctive strength: mobile-first markets, fewer legacy systems, the openness to leapfrog technologies. Meanwhile, CEE and the UK bring regulatory maturity, governance frameworks, and R&D strength. So recent news from the ASEAN Summit 2025, where Trump was very happy in Malaysia and still cannot move on from us. In Japan, in Korea, he's still mentioning about our country. He's quite happy, actually, dance in our country. But recent news from the ASEAN Summit 2025 underscores this point. Malaysia hosted 47th ASEAN Summit in Kuala Lumpur under its 2025 chairmanship with the participation of the US President and the signing of major deals. So For example, we have the ASEAN Digital Economy Framework Agreement, DFA, to be signed in 2026. So we aim to harmonize digital trade rules across ASEAN. And maybe CEE can learn from ASEAN about agility, market readiness, and digital native behavior. ASEAN can learn from CEE about institutional frameworks and regulatory design. So the key message here, the future of AI and digital transformation isn't competition between regions, but more on collaboration across them. We can build a model that is neither purely Silicon Valley nor purely regulatory sandbox only, but a hybrid, agile, inclusive, governed. That's all from me. Over to you, Ben.
Thank you, Effendi. Now the word is going to Neha.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to the ASEAN point. I think in the ASEAN market, the focus is on innovation and speed. So a lot of times you would see regulators playing catch up, and they're very happy doing that. However, going back to what my colleague from Malaysia was saying, I think when you look at the EU market, there's a lot of focus on safeguarding responsible AI, taking care of the ethics aspect of it, which is equally important for us. But I think a lot of regulators, when I talk to them, they rather be in the passenger seat, not in the driver's seat at all times. So I think that's where the agility and the speed comes. But at the same time, we are looking at a world where we are not talking about man versus machine, because it's all about man with machine.
Thank you. We talked about ethics in AI, and we talked about culture aspects. And let's move over to the banking. So, Thomas, you're representing mBank here today. So, AI can be a tool for operational security and anti-fraud tool, but it can also be a tool used unethically to create fraud. So, it's a dual-edged sword. Can we have some comments on that and the ethical aspects in the banking industry, applying AI in different situations, including learning systems for lending and credit scoring and such things?
Hello, hello. Yes, it's working. So good morning also from my side. I think what you have been mentioning, it's maybe 2, maybe 3 steps ahead where we are comparing, where we are sitting at the moment and thinking even. I think I would maybe get back to the presentation. What was here, and this is the situation where we're standing at the moment. So maybe to spread more information about the employee first, to think about how we can use it in terms of internally, but also externally. Definitely the question about the security and about the other things will come in the future, but we're not so far ahead, I would say. The challenge for us at the moment is currently how to make sure that even the AI will be topic that spread across the company for more than people, more than, I would say, top management. We have bits and the pieces of the successes, but I think there will be a quite long journey going ahead. So I mean, we know where we are heading to, but when we come on there, I have no idea. But definitely what has been done here, this training, either internal and external, the weekly, monthly meetings to spreading the knowledges, this is where we are at the moment.
Thank you. I have a question from the audience. I think Marcel Klima from Vacuum Labs might be interested in this question.
Sure.
As emerging small alternative investment funds begin integrating AI tools into their strategies, how can they responsibly apply predictive analytics and automation without losing the human layer of strategic judgment? And here comes the key question. Since Vacuum Lab it's a big player, but not the biggest player in the universe when it comes to AI, and still remain competitive against larger data-rich institutions.
Can you repeat the beginning of the question?
Of course.
Just go ahead.
I do the quick version. investment funds with alternative investments, I assume that can include crypto, obviously, they start integrating AI tools in their strategies.
Sure. So I think people use AI for a lot of things today, including things that have nothing to do with what any reasonable person would, or any reasonable person working in the field would call AI. Including rules-based systems. So like all of you are probably used to, like if you try calling your energy company, they have this, call them up and it's like press 1 to do X, press 2 to do Y, and so on. That's a very simple rules-based system. It's basically like if something happens, then do something. A lot of systems that I see calling themselves AI are doing just that. They have nothing to do with artificial intelligence. I mean, I guess in that same logic, anything that has any sort of rules-based thing in it is an AI-based system, which is what in the 90s, when you had the movies, and AI would take over, everyone expected it would be rules-based. Today we have two different types of systems that I guess are used the most. One of them is some sort of predictive machine learning. So you give it a set of data, you tell it what to predict, and it gives you some sort of output. And the other one is large language models and their cousins, like audio models, audio generation models, image generation models, which we don't need to go into the technicalities of how these operate. But the reason why I'm explaining these differences is that a lot of companies can truly benefit just from using rules-based systems and they just haven't implemented them yet. That could be even for banks. I've seen banks where they're now able to use their rules-based systems better because they can use LLMs and machine learning to enrich their data. There's one bank here in Slovakia that I know of, and I'm sure there are more, that are actually running their transactions through a tiny language model just to categorize them better so that the data becomes richer and then they can work with it better. So it really doesn't matter which one of these approaches you choose, whether you're an insurance company or investment company, whether you're doing...
InsurTech is fine as well. We're dealing with InvestTech and InsurTech. So.
Yeah, the problem with InsurTech is that there are still some insurance companies that use faxes, which is kind of an issue, including ones from Germany that you would expect at least have, internet. Although I guess you could say fax is a type of internet. Yeah. So my point is, it doesn't really matter which one of these approaches you use and which one of them you use as AI, as you call them AI. The thing I would really focus on is really just knowing what you want, as opposed to just saying like, oh, it's a magic, like we'll bring AI and everything will work. Well, it won't, because especially if you have no idea what you're prompting, and we could talk about this for hours. Either it's with Gáspár or myself. We see clients and they're very confused, but all they expect is like, oh, AI will fix everything. It won't. You need to know, even with machine learning, you need to know what you're optimizing for and what you're predicting. Sorry for a long answer, but try to at least think about what your goal is.
That's like the part of all decision making, and when you need to define what you want to achieve before you start. That is the basics of all business processes. Gáspár, please, you want to reply to this?
So the problem what I am seeing is also that every company wants AI, but truly what they want is automation. So it's not basically AI, but the automation was here already like tens of years, hundreds of years, even manual automation kind of things. And in software, like those things basically are based on tools like I was telling you, like Zapier, Make, and NA10, like those tools are here for years, and the companies are just not using it. And now, because they see the potential in AI, they want AI, but often it's just automation, and one tiny part is handled by AI, or it is like enriching the data, if we are talking about large language models.
Just a follow-up question on that. AI or just automation. automation becomes very complex if you have too many if sentences and you can't really think of all of them. It's there where I think AI comes in when it comes to these expert systems. Because all the dumb automation, you end up in infinite loops or dead ends quite often.
That's a rule-based system. What are you talking about? And automation is more likely to connecting systems together and working in a different way. So programmatically, you can connect like different systems, and you have these automation tools which are basically like a user interface, and you have boxes. You say like connect here to the database, do this and this, and you go to workflows. Yet it can be complicated, and in some cases, it's better to write software. Rather than doing just those automations. But then those things were here already, and then you put 2-3 boxes of AI agents whatsoever, and just prompted ChatGPT, which is doing some kind of thing. That's why I'm saying that the base of all these AI transformations are automation plus AI on top of it.
Thank you. Jonathan?
Yeah, I was just going to add, I think agree with everything that's been said. I think the other secret thing that people often don't quite get around to admitting is for a lot of large companies, banks, insurance firms, it can often take them 12 months to run proof of concepts to begin to test and explore these technologies, because if you have to do full onboarding and risk management in order to be able to like see if your customer data can go anywhere near these tools, we all know the speed of AI models or new tools that are coming out, they're coming out every 3 months, every 6 months. So if your proof of concept kind of validation methodology takes 12 to 18 months because of third-party risk management, you're already, like, even with the best intentions in the world, really facing a very, very difficult mountain to get up, because you're always just looking at tools that are a year old, effectively. So I think I guess as a practical thing, along with everything that's been said, I think a challenge out there to banks and insurance firms is, can you use tools to vastly simplify your assessment methodology so that you can begin to actually get more real-time hands-on these technology tools? Because I think that would put firms at a major competitive advantage against their peers if they're able to actually validate these tools and find the right partner much, much quicker.
Okay, Meta, a quick reply, and then I will go over to Effendy, and then...
Yeah, because my colleagues were talking about alternative credit scoring, I just wanted to share some stats because only less than 26% women work in the AI or data analytics field. And if you talk about developing markets, less than 37% women have access to digital tools. So we are talking about industries where we are looking at transformation, but we are also aware that when we look at these data points, it doesn't really have a lot of women being included in it, because some of these softwares that we're talking about or the LLMs we're talking about, they are being designed by men. So there's already some sort of bias, and I think it's just important that we address that issue as well, because when Jonathan is talking about the proof of concept taking 12 months, but you're not even sure about the biases which is inbuilt in those data points, I think you're going to miss the whole intention of inclusive AI.
Effendy, please.
Yes. I think I also want to add a little bit just now, because you guys need to understand a little bit more on the Sharia compliant AI offers ASEAN. So in discussing AI transformations, it's important to highlight, if you guys want to enter the market on ASEAN or Middle East, it's important to highlight how Sharia compliant AI offers ASEAN, especially Malaysia, a strategic entry point into the global digital economy. In my book, I mentioned about the Sharia. Yeah? This is for the Muslim markets, especially Malaysia, Indonesia, where there are 140 million Muslims in Asian and Islamic finance market, exceeding USD 3 trillion globally, embedding Sharia compliance into AI governance, digital banking, and InsurTech can unlock new markets and strengthen regional cooperation. So, supported by Malaysia Budget 2026, we focus on digital inclusion and highlighted during the recent ASEAN Summit 2025, where AI ethics took center stage, and this approach demands wise understanding and implementation because the future of AI in our region isn't just about intelligence, but also integrity. And these Sharia principles already emphasize fairness, transparency, and equitability, values that align perfectly with the global movement toward responsible and explainable AI. So this positions Malaysia not only as a leader in ethical technology, but also as a bridge between Western regulatory framework and Eastern moral system. So just I mentioned just now, with over 240 million Muslims in Asian and Islamic finance market, so to embed Sharia compliance is very important. And I would like to help you, to assist you on this matter if you are thinking to explore, to expand into the ASEAN market, basically where Malaysia, Indonesia, we can say that is leading on this market. That's all from me, Johan.
Thank you very much. And we will move on to Gáspár with a short comment, and then we will switch the topic somewhat back to talent and fusion in this area.
Short comment, all right. So I need to rethink that. No, it's all right. So
Not
Jonathan
that
was,
short.
yeah, Jonathan was talking about the POCs, the proof of concepts in the banks and these like areas. Basically, what you can do is to have a local model, an open source one, which you run basically in-house, because we are doing for a company who is working with armies in the whole world, and they are having a logistics software for them, and we were doing an analysis for basically choosing the right model for them, which they can deploy. And it didn't took that much, and basically in that case you will have all the data in your servers and it's nothing going outside, so you can work out this as well. And also, of course, we in one of my other companies we are working with Shell. Like they are like Jesus about the data, like GDPR, everything. Like it's they have data publicly available, and we had like 5 people on the call. They were like complaining about that it is going to a system which is using OpenAI APIs. And I'm like, bro, like this is like public data, you know, it's already in the set probably, like the training set, you know. So yeah, it's hard to dealing with this compliance stuff.
Okay, let's get back to the core debate, talent and fusion. The panel theme is AI fusion. How do we break down the silos between banking, insurtech, and fintech? And first we ask us, are these silos really that rigid today? Because they start breaking up quite a long time ago. And where do you find talent that understands AI finance and compliance? We need talent that can understand AI and finance and compliance.
No way.
It's teamwork, right?
Yes.
Exactly. So who would like to dive into this question first? Meta, thank you.
Thank you. So I think we are looking at using technology for the long run, because there's no way we can imagine our life without technology, but we need to plug in trust. And trust is the big currency when we look at the new space of AI, because my earlier point on digitization to digital transformation, but to where we are today with digital fusion. And I think the word fusion is what you are encompassing it with, right? It's about talent. I was talking about lack of women in women-centric data points, but also not enough women working in this space, less than 26% women workforce. And I think that's where we need to bring inclusivity. For example, right now I'm in a panel with all men, so I'm quite used to it. But you need to be thick-skinned if you have to be in this space, because a lot of times people just don't listen to you and you're invisible. So women are invisible. Sometimes the data points are invisible. So I think we need to fight that battle at many fronts. But beyond that, I think we're also looking at the fusion from the aspect of speed and safety. Because if we are talking about what my colleague from Malaysia has been discussing in terms of mobile first, leapfrogging, we are talking about countries like Indonesia, which is the 4th largest country in the world, and 97% of people there access internet through mobile devices. So that's a huge market, which is just looking at mobile technology, and the first generation mobile usage comes from using internet on a mobile device. So we are able to leapfrog into a place where there's huge talent because young people understand AI. And perhaps right now, maybe if we can do a show of hands, how many people used AI today? And how many people actually know they use the AI, right? That's the question, because it's almost invisible. It's like the Wi-Fi. It exists, but we don't see it. So to get here, I was using my Google Maps. It is using AI. You were talking to my colleague about alternate credit scoring. It is using AI. But I think what we are looking at is having the talent in terms of making sure that we have the right data points, but also bringing the inclusivity to not leave anyone behind. Because if the data is inclined to make decisions towards men or people who are rich or those who are coming from a developed market versus a developing market, I think that's where we are missing the point. Because in this long run of AI transformation, we don't want to have a world where AI is just working for 50% of population and not for the other remaining. And I think, especially when we look at markets like Singapore, Singapore has a lot of, because to your point of how we can find this talent, I think AI is not taking away our jobs, it's taking jobs of those people who don't understand AI. So how do we make sure that we look at constantly upskilling and kind of unlearning sometimes? Because I think if we talk about, oh, this is how it's always been done, that's where you stop creativity and innovation. So we need to think out of the box, and Singapore has been at the forefront in terms of giving away grants to its citizens and permanent residents to take courses on AI. They also have this visa scheme which allows people from across the world to find jobs, especially if you're in the AI space, because they want to make sure that they are the talent pool, the hotbed for innovation and testing all these new ideas. So I think it has a lot to do with the ecosystem approach where the banks are working hand in hand with innovation labs, but also regulators working with the immigration policies and making sure that you bring that talent in. And of course, being a woman, I would safely say that it's very important as a woman to know what's happening around you and to take those bets on yourself and upskill yourself, because only you can be your own cheerleader.
Thank you. We move over to Kuala Lumpur, and
Yes.
Singapore mentioned.
Yeah.
Now we take Kuala Lumpur
Yeah.
and the perspective from Malaysia and
Yes,
the
yes.
culture aspects.
Thank you, Johan. Now we fly back to Kuala Lumpur. Yes, I agree with my colleague Neha Mehta talking about the ecosystem. So if we talk about AI fusion, what we really mean is bringing together intelligence, finance, governance, and technology into one ecosystem. So the real bottleneck today isn't technology, it's talent. We have the algorithms, but not enough people who can speak all these languages at once. So I give a fact. According to Deloitte's 2024 Future of Work report, 65% of ASEAN banks say their AI projects are slowed down because they don't have enough cross-disciplinary experts, people who understand both the code and the compliance. I'm so lucky because I'm involved, actually my first degree in law, then I have my second degree doing blockchain, I learning coding, I'm putting some sort of a discipline on big data, learning Python, then go to blockchain, and now I was certified by IBM on AI. So we need to have people who understand both the code and the compliance. So in my organization at the Center for AI, Blockchain and Advanced Research, or CHABA, we've been promoting what we call AI bilinguals, professionals who are fluent in both algorithm, logic, and regulatory of ethical frameworks. So these are the people who can make AI real in sectors like banking, insurance, and governance. So we are seeing progress in Malaysia. Our national AI roadmap 2021 to 2025, I'm part of this kind of roadmap implementer, is already training thousands of AI professionals. In Indonesia, the Digital Talent Scholarship has reached more than 300,000 participants. This is the beginning of what I call fusion talent, people who can connect AI, finance, and compliance under one vision. And I think PwC's latest report supports this. Skills for AI-related jobs are changing 66% faster than for other roles. Companies that successfully scale up AI are also 30% more likely to integrate AI into new products, processes, and workforce capabilities. So this is ASEAN's opportunity. We have a young, mobile, first population, and governments like Malaysia and Indonesia, Singapore, are investing heavily in digital upskilling. But to really win, we must break the silos, like Johan said just now. We must break the silos. Don't treat data science, business, and regulation as separate worlds. The future belongs to those who can merge intelligence with integrity and technology with trust. That's all for me. Back to you, Johan.
Thank you very much, Effendy. A quick reply from Jonathan, then we move over to M-Bank and Vacuum Labs.
Yeah, I think it's very easy to reply to a question like this with kind of, we're all in this together, all the technology and all the banks and all the regulators. And that's 100% true. I think it's worth noting that we're not all in it together in the same way, in that there are certain trusted parties like banks and insurance firms who come under a regulatory umbrella, and their code of conducts and their rules set them apart from the technology providers. I think that's just inevitably true, right? I mean, unless the regulatory framework changes. So everyone has to work together, yes, but I think it's just worth remembering that actually people have different roles and they're held to different standards. And so the system has to learn to work together, respecting the roles of the different participants, because unless the regulatory framework changes, you know, OpenAI is not held to the same like regulatory framework as a bank, normally speaking, under a national bank or a regulator. So yes, everyone's important, but I think it's for that system to work, we have to remember that not everybody has to play to the same rules. And that's okay, but I think it's worth remembering.
Let's move on to Thomas at M-Bank. How is it with the silos and attracting talent and that understands the bilingualism, both the regulatory framework and the technology?
I don't think there are silos.
That's good to hear.
I think it's about combining both, right? There was a really nice discussion about upskilling, and I think this is maybe the new slogan which we have to put through. I think nowadays, how I see, at least within us, within the company, it's more maybe touching the way how to use AI as something operatorize, right? In terms of the compliance, maybe the data secrecy, GDPR, but also how to help people to work. But honestly, haven't seen the silos between the IT. I think the IT nowadays is more pushing to even make it happen than thinking something else and other. But so I think at least no fights, no silos so far, which I'm proud to.
Thank you very much. We move over to Marcel from Vacuum Labs, and basically the same question: attracting talent, people with an understanding, and how are you doing that at Vacuum Labs? And one follow-up question that is slightly different: what can you learn from the rest of the world, including the ASEAN countries?
Ooh. So, in terms of talent, it's obviously difficult. That's always been a challenge because just finding people who know what they, just understanding, just Like a simple thing is just onboarding customers and doing identity verification, just knowing people who have done that before. Before AI, that was an issue, and now with various tools, it's difficult. I think there's a certain level of positive pressure that we're applying to our employees. And when I say pressure, it's not forcing them to do things, but rather challenging them to do things faster, almost unrealistically faster, meaning build this in a day. Whereas before, something like that could have only been built in a month. Not to everyone, not everyone is capable of it, but it's really the stars that are capable of doing that and taking something and building it really fast, and they can then be the ambassadors for others. So I almost feel like an engineer will really just trust an engineer. A compliance officer will trust a compliance officer who has broken their mind trying to do something they weren't capable of doing so fast or so efficiently, or just breaking your own mind trying to do something really, really hard, whether that's physical or mental, can inspire others. So I think, it's rather than attracting the talent, it's actually building those superstars internally who can then inspire the new incoming people. I think that's my answer to your first question.
So the key issue is to develop the talent in-house.
I think so.
Okay. And the second question, do you think you can learn anything from the ASEAN experience, including the inclusiveness and what Meta also was talking about, providing AI and not excluding 50% of the population? We're in Slovakia now, and we know, for example, that a large portion of the population is not that IT literate, let's say it like that.
I'm always in awe. I was in Singapore last month. I've been going to Hong Kong often in the past. I'm always in awe of just the sheer amount of people in those locations. I mean, Singapore is just this little island, but then there's Malaysia on the one side and Indonesia on the other side. I can't pretend to understand the culture of the people I didn't grow up in. All I can say is that AI has, whether it's LLM-based AI or machine learning-based AI, has the potential to uncover where we have failed as humans to be more inclusive. But it will also show us that in some places we don't necessarily have to be inclusive because our perception of reality has shifted. We're no longer living in the 15th century, and things have really improved for people of many. So I think let's give LLMs an attempt to show us that some things are already improved and others really need to be improved. The various types of values that we share, whether it's more Christian European values versus the Islamic values that my colleague in Malaysia has shared, we're still based all around a similar code of ethics that has been able to build this globalized world. So let's find the ways that help us do that in ways that don't break the world, because AI can break the world. So that's also a big challenge mentally and for me.
That's very well said, because the more people I meet from different culture, the more similarities I find. So we should build on the similarities and take the peculiarities into account, I suppose, even when it comes to AI and the implementation and the inclusiveness, which of course brings it over to Meta with the female aspect, where females are underrepresented, and back to Malaysia with Effendy, what we can learn from each other from the ASEAN countries and the CE region. I will start with Meta and the female aspect on this, and then we move over to Kuala Lumpur and Effendy. Thank you.
Okay.
So, Johan, your question is what we can learn, the ASEAN can learn from Central Europe?
The question is for Effendy, what we can learn from ASEAN and what they can learn from us. And after Marcel's great speech here regarding inclusiveness and that we have more similarities and so on, I would like you, since you're representing Fintech, and told us that women are underrepresented, how we can actually make action points out of this instead of just basic talk.
Should I go first or he's going first?
You can go first.
Me first? Okay.
Ladies first. Ladies first.
Ladies first. Yeah.
Yes. We're soon finishing, so you will get a big chunk of the last piece of the block. Effendy.
No, I need to have the last word.
Okay.
Well, I can speak from my own experience. I think I can just share my story. Being a lawyer, just like my colleague from Malaysia, it has not always been easy, but I just go with 3 rules in my life. The first is whatever opportunity comes your way, show up. That's what I've done for most part of my life. You've got to be a risk taker. The second is have a lot of trust in yourself. Sometimes we don't really ask for what we want, but also we don't take enough bets on ourselves. So it's very important to go deep in yourself and identify what really matters for you, and then just go ahead and keep asking people for I would say favors, but also I'm very shameless. I do cold calling. I reach out to people on LinkedIn. So if I want something, I just go after it. So that's, I think, a good message perhaps for everyone. If you're aiming to get somewhere or you're aiming for stars, then you have to keep asking, because for me, no is just another way of doing things in a better way. And lastly, I would say keep your blinders on, because sometimes you make mistakes, but it's just knowing that a lot of people are not supporting your journey. So you have to find your inner confidence to do that, because I wear multiple hats. I am an author. I'm signing book copies after this. I teach at NTU and SMU in Singapore. I teach in India as well. And this is when I don't even have a master's degree. So I know, Johan, you are a professor, you are perhaps PhD, and I'm able to do that in multiple universities across the globe. And it's just because I could not get a chance to study in Singapore. And I told myself, it's okay, I never got a chance to study, but now one day I'll come back and teach there. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Was it easy? No. But every time I show up, I give my 100%. And I think one thing leads to the other, and the door keeps opening. So through my own venture as well, Fintech Partners, we are amplifying world's 50% population. So for me, if you ask, the message is very clear. If you want something, then you have to have the courage to cold call, ask people, and keep working on yourself to upgrade yourself and be a better version in every sense.
Thank you. We only have about 5 minutes left. We move over to Malaysia and Effendy. 2 things, what we can learn from each other. And then the last question, the black box problem. How do we practically implement explainable AI for regulators and responsible AI for customers without killing the model's efficiency or effectiveness?
All right. From my perspective, thank you. It's a very great question. ASEAN and CEE are different, but both are trying to balance innovation and regulation. From ASEAN, we can see the power of speed and flexibility. Countries like Malaysia, Indonesia, and Singapore move fast, testing digital banking, e-wallets, and AI in the real markets. That energy and creativity are our strength. From CEE, we can learn discipline. The region focuses on structure, strong institutions, and clear regulations like MiCA that builds trust and long-term confidence for investors and users. So CE can learn agility from ASEAN, how to move faster, and Asian can learn structure from CEE, how to make growth more sustainable. If we combine both Asian speed and CEE's discipline, we get a stronger, more balanced model for digital transformation. And when we talk about the black box, it's a quite interesting problem that we want to, when we talk about black box problem, explainability is now a regulatory requirement, not a research topic. I can say that EY 2024, 80% of ASEAN financial institutions have integrated explainable AI models. So our regulators like Bank Negara Malaysia and Singapore, MAS, Monetary Authority Singapore, lead responsible AI adoption. So our organization, we advocate RegTech by design. We try to do some sort of embedding ethics and explainability from the start. So if an algorithm can be explained to a aggregate of customer, it doesn't belong in finance. So that's from my points on the black box. Back to you, Johan.
Thank you very much. We have one question from the audience that I will wait a little bit, but Meta, do you want to follow up on this really quickly? Because we're running out of time as usual.
I think I will say what I had said earlier, just in terms of you don't really have to copy-paste the model, because EU has shown to us what it means to work in a guarded fashion, safeguarding the interests of the consumer, but also making sure that the business side is also not affected. But at the same time, Singapore or the key markets in the ASEAN jurisdictions are largely focused on letting the innovation thrive and not stifle it. So I think if you ask me, it has to be a blended model where we are able to bring the safety aspect, but also the speed and the efficiency, so that the transformation is not happening just to make a quick buck, but also it's more inclusive and responsible, so that when we look back at the journey, we don't really feel sad about making some wrong choices.
Marcel, please.
And Johan, I think we need to start building your responsible AI framework now, not where you are scaled, data integrity, bias checks, auditability, make them part of architecture, not afterthought. That's all for me.
I completely agree. It should be built in from the beginning, not put as an afterthought. That's very good.
I just want to...
Yes.
Thanks.
I just, want to add, a vast majority of the regulation in the world completely excludes any military and law enforcement use. So the EU Act itself basically says like, oh, well, you banks can't do it, but our police, our military, our everything can use it. I think that's very concerning. Because almost everything we say in this panel is almost void, because the government will then be ahead of us for everything.
You're being recorded.
Sorry?
You're being recorded.
Oh, that's fine. The government, I don't want you to be better than people. That's fine. But that's one part. But explainability with LLMs, I don't think is reasonably possible today. I don't think you can really explain the reasoning of LLMs. You can do it with rules-based systems. This is why banks will tend to do that and will not implement LLMs. And you can do it slightly with machine learning models, which have very clear ways of being trained and how they're interpreting data. But I think this will then stifle innovation with LLMs, or large language models, image generation models, diffusion models, and audio models, because they are not explainable. So I have concerns around the regulation, because it's not like something that can be easily tracked around the world on who's developing what type of AI, and we are stifling innovation by over-regulating it. And it's not like I like it, it's just that it's like a nuclear race, and I don't know how to solve it. I don't have an answer. I'm concerned about it, but when talking about explainability, I think it's very good to say that you don't really have explainability with your own employees. And that opens up a whole Pandora's box that nobody really wants to talk about. Sorry.
We have a comment from Kuala Lumpur first, or?
I just wanted to add, so who we trust more, AI or politicians?
Sorry, Effendy. Okay, who do you trust more, AI or politician? That's a very broad question. Just a quick reply now for Effendy, and then I will do the question. We have to round this off very soon now. Okay, Effendy.
Okay, so it's about integration. So when we talk about, for me, let's talking about the call to the action. So AI fusion is not simply the addition of AI to business, but it is the integrations of AI, regulation, talent, and business model into a unified ecosystem. So in ASEAN, we are building that ecosystem now. So what I mentioned, my challenge to all the people in the industries. So as you think about AI fusion in your enterprise or region, keep these four words in mind: context, governance, talent, and scale. So let's build AI systems that are not just powerful, but trustworthy, inclusive, and culturally embedded. Thank you.
And I will do the question. With institutions like Bank of England and IMF warning about potential AI market bubble, especially given how much of S&P 500's growth now just depends on a few AI firms, do you think the current AI valuation are sustainable, or are we heading toward another dot-com style correction? Well, as a professor in finance, I will actually answer that question myself because we're running out of time. The answer is yes and no. The head shops, they will be hit hard. The ones that are scalable, they will manage quite well. And you know all who are the head shops. I'm not going to point out any firms here. But lots of AI in some of the companies in the S&P 500, they rely on a huge cadre of employees to get the AI done, and those will get hit. The ones that are scalable and run a bootstrapped organization, they will manage. We don't have any more time right now. We're already over time by 4 minutes, and I would very much like to thank the panel.